Presented by Progressive Insurance. Step up to the plate for savings. Visit progressive.com. And by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers. Surprise, surprise, another hot one here in Baltimore as we will wrap up this three-game series at beautiful Camden Yards. The Rangers and the Orioles. Rangers coming off an exciting win last night, and look, recency bias, I guess we can chalk it up to, but for me, that was one of the most exciting and interesting games of the year last night. Rangers hoping to carry some of that energy over into tonight's contest and come home with another series win on the road. All right, let's take a look at the lineup for the Rangers. 39 wins, 41 losses. It'll be Josh Smith in that leadoff spot at first base. Sam Haggerty DHing, and then Corey Seager, the fleet-footed Corey Seager at shortstop batting third. Simeon, Garcia, Carter in the middle. Young at third base. Heim catches, and Alejandro Osuna with a start in left field tonight will bat ninth.
Orioles will send Brandon Young to the mound tonight for his third major league start. Well, the good news for Young is that he has struck out 9 8 2/3 innings. The bad news is that he's walked 8 and he's given up 11 hits. Here's the arsenal for him. Fastball 36%, cutter 23%. He'll throw a curveball and a change, 22% and 19% respectively for those two pitches. Here's the defense behind Young. It's Cowser, Mullins, and Carlson in the outfield. Westberg is back in there at third base tonight. Henderson up the middle with Holiday. And Ryan O'Hearn gets the start at first base tonight. Chadwick Trump back there behind the plate.
All right, well, the Rangers, as I mentioned, shooting for their fourth straight road series win. If they can pull this one off here tonight. Not very much the idea is Josh Smith will get us started. Yesterday, Smith walked to start the ball game, and in some ways set the tone. It was a great night, I thought, overall for these Rangers hitters. Pretty solid at bats, one by one the entire evening. Smitty takes a strike. And you'll watch one outside. Chad Fairchild is our plate umpire tonight. Also the crew chief. Veteran umpire calling the balls and strikes. And the 1-1. Young misses down low. So Smith at 382 for the year. 7 home runs and 21 RBIs. And he'll take down the middle. That's 2-2. He has reached base safely in 15 straight. That's the longest stretch for a Ranger this year. 2-2 pitch, and he'll foul that one away. So making the rookie Brandon Young work a little bit.
It looked like Young threw the ball right where he wanted to. Good spoil swing, making sure he gets another pitch.
For Young, his third major league start. And this one on the ground up the middle. On the backhand, Holiday. He'll throw over to first, and Smith turned back to start the ball game. But the 6th pitch at bat, so Sam Haggerty got to take a look at a little bit of Young's offerings. He's 6'6", a little over 200 pounds. Young just 26 years old. So look at Haggerty's numbers. Sam DHing tonight, and he'll go after the first pitch, a pop-up to deep shortstop. Henderson makes the catch, and that is the second out.
Now you said Young at 6'6". I mean, I think Orioles are running out some big dudes. I think Morton and both Rogers that we've seen each of the last 2 nights, I think both of them were 6'5".
Yeah, I was going to say 6'5"-ish, right? So, yeah, it's an impressive front line on the basketball court. Now Corey Seager, and he'll offer at strike 1. Seager, I thought, in another, well, credit Haggerty as the spark plug last night, but Seager right there with him, showing off his speed yesterday. And he held up on that 1-1. Late appeal. And Jonathan Parra down there said, yeah, no, he didn't go. Seager was getting on last night, and then he was on the move. And he chops this one down to first base. That'll be a routine play for O'Hearn, and the Rangers go pretty quietly in their half of the first inning. So the Orioles coming up, and that means Jacob DeGrom heading out to the mound. So scoreless top of the first for the Rangers, but they're excited tonight because they're giving the ball to Jacob DeGrom.
Yeah, you know it's a DeGrom day, and you know that Navy Federal Credit Union on a mission will give you some numbers on his Friday start in Pittsburgh. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 7 punch outs. Franchise record, 12 consecutive starts of 5 innings or more and 2 or fewer runs allowed. Longest streak in Major League Baseball this season. Here's the overall numbers for him. And what turned out to be a mediocre start for him in his first few has turned into the Jacob DeGrom that we know and love. Just 18 walks in 88 1/3 innings, batting average under 200 for him.
All right, the lineup you'll see from the Orioles: Holliday, Westberg, and Henderson leading it off. O'Hearn, Sanchez, Cowser, Mullins in center field, Carlson, and then Trump, the catcher, bats ninth. Holliday goes after the first pitch and shoots it up into the stands. So final game of this series, the rubber game. Rangers hoping for a series win tonight, and a continuation of what has been some pretty good play on the road. They get a much more comfortable evening here tonight. 1-1 from DeGrom, and that one pinned right on the inside corner there. 98 miles per hour for strike 2.
Yeah, and Holliday, a guy who loves the pitch in. He tried to ambush early on. He was looking for that fastball on the first pitch, fouled it off. We're probably going to see a lot of that tonight up and down the lineup, and he gets the 98 down and in. He takes it.
1-2 pitch, and there's the slider in the dirt. 2-2. So big Jacob DeGrom already talking to himself a little bit there. Recently turned 37 years old. That was Thursday of last week. Been Mr. Reliable so far this year for the Rangers. And the right-hander's 2-2. Swing and a miss. Wow, we had Holliday absolutely baffled on that changeup.
That's almost not fair. And we've talked throughout the course of this series the way that Holliday just continues to bail. He wants to pull the baseball. You see his body falling toward his own dugout, and Jacob threw the perfect pitch in the perfect spot.
So now runs one up and in on Westberg, 209 hitter, rather 229 hitter with 7 home runs. Westberg, you can see that little stretch right now that he's on has been rough. He's running a long over. Been over a week since he's had a hit. 1-1 pitch, and he'll shoot it foul. Four-seamer there at 99 miles per hour. So DeGrom early on here showing that he's pretty loose.
It's like you get into the summer weather and the heat will wear you down a little bit, but I have to imagine it's helpful for a pitcher. You go out there and you're loose already, especially in a place like Baltimore.
Stays 1-2 here on Westberg. Yeah, a couple of shoulder shrugs and maybe a long toss to your catcher, and you're good. Let's go. Get a good sweat going. Although game time temperature the last 2 days was 100 degrees. Today, 89. And Westberg holds off there. 2-2. So much more reasonable night tonight in terms of weather.
We had some rain roll through here, although I don't really think it hit much of the ballpark.
This one in the air Out to left center field, and Osuna runs underneath it. Westberg is retired. 2 gone. So we saw him hit 100 in that last at bat. Our TXU Energy Power stats. DeGrom, he's back at those really extreme levels again. The other day in Pittsburgh, a couple pitches and in triple digits. How about guys 37 and older to throw at least 100? It's a pretty small group. It's also something at that age. My goodness, just the 4th ever to do it.
And the difference between Jacob DeGrom and those other 3 guys, those guys are all guys pitching out of the bullpen. They can come in and pitch an inning and blow it out as hard as they can. Jacob DeGrom's a starter. And so you're thinking about a guy that is trying to get 6, maybe 7 innings in. And so you're thinking maybe he's trying to preserve some energy out there and not showcase the high velocity. And he doesn't live at 100, but we'll see a few pitches a game that reach it.
And Jonah coming to terms on the pitch. And now a swing and a miss. He strikes out Henderson. Oh, what a great start to the night for Jacob DeGrom. Hitting triple digits with a fastball. But it was the changeup that got Holiday. And then he strikes out Gunnar Henderson to wrap up the inning.
For the Rangers, second baseman number 2, Marcus Semien.
Welcome back to Camden Yards. We are still scoreless here at the top of the 2nd inning as we welcome you back down to field level. I am Laura Stickles. The Texas Rangers are currently in a critical stretch of 12 games where they have the opportunity to pick up some ground. They just came off 3 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates, the last place team in the NL Central, now playing against the Baltimore Orioles, who are the last place team in the AL East. Then they go home, play against the Seattle Mariners, a division rival, and then have another series against the Baltimore Orioles. And Bruce Bochy said the other day that this is a good opportunity for them, and has said the focus right now is on winning series. He does feel like there's been some progress, but right now it feels like they're in a good spot.
Double for Haggerty, or rather for Semien. And we're underway here in the 2nd.
Look at Marcus getting out of the box. Slider in the middle, drives it to left center. You're thinking it may end up being a single, but you see Marcus take a few hard steps out of the box. That ball goes into the gap, and he takes advantage of a little stumble out there in left field. Nice slide in there to get into second with a double. Cowser does everything he can, but that stumble really helped Semien.
He had the hit last night, going 1 for 5. Today gets the double to begin things here. And so he's in scoring position. Garcia at the right side, and he'll take up 1-1. Dolis was 1 for 5 yesterday. In fact, he's reached safely now in 9 of the last 10. And he's picked it up quite a little bit with the bat. The reset, if you will, from now a couple of weeks ago really served him well. He took nearly a week off from playing in a game. It was like 6 days between games, and worked on a couple of things mechanically. And sometimes just getting a little break from it too could be something, but he has come back a different man, trying to drive that guy in. As Marcus takes a decent lead, not going anywhere. 1-2 on Garcia. Our Choctaw Casinos and Resorts game within the game. You were talking about this yesterday, Murph.
Yeah, he's becoming more of a complete hitter, just trying to use the whole field. Well, you can see that early on, and for his career, you could call him a pull guy. 30% of those balls go to the pull side in left field, and obvious that the balls that he's hitting to right field here in June have become more frequent. You're seeing harder contact. He's seeing the ball deeper in the strike zone. For guys that have the type of power that he does, you can miss balls and hit him out of the ballpark. So he just has to touch it. there's no reason he needs to swing out of his shoes and try to use his body to get out front of the baseball.
Working the count a little bit more these days as well, as he's now run the count full. Semien, small lead at second, and Young's pitch. There's a swing and a miss, and he got Garcia to go after that fastball right at the top of the zone. First strikeout tonight for Young.
Well, this is what you really have to do to get Garcia out, and judging by the box that we see right here, it's right at the top of the strike zone, so you give Young some credit that he hits a spot. I feel like major league pitchers make it look really easy to pitch at the top of the strike zone when it's not that simple.
Well, Evan Carter with a chance to drive in that first run of the night. Evan at the left side, and the pitch from Young. Got him to offer at the curveball. Evan was way ahead of it. 2 for 5 last night, though. Scored a couple of runs. It's been a nice road trip for Carter. And late on the fastball, so it's got to be a little frustrating. Was way out in front of the curveball, and then that slowed him down a little bit. Couldn't catch up with the fastball, and now he's in a very defensive spot here.
Well, I guess a guy like this that can throw a curveball and a fastball on the same plane, and both of those pitches looked the same. It looked like Carter was a little bit confused just in seeing the baseball. That's a great take.
Yeah, lays off the fastball there. 1-2. Had the start yesterday, and believe it or not, that was his first career regular season action against Baltimore. A turn and a look back at second. So a disengagement for Brandon Young. Marcus didn't look too convinced that Young was going to do anything. 1-2, and that's in the air. Pretty deep center field. Mullins gets to it. Semien tags. He'll head to third, and he gets in there. But there are 2 gone.
Well, see Marcus Semien, he tags on this ball. Mullins knows he's going, and he does everything that he can. Mullins doesn't look like he has the strongest arm out there in center field, and Rangers probably doing everything they can to continue the theme from last night, which was aggressive base running.
So Josh Young, and he'll watch up and out. Young at 242 with 7 homers. How about that? A multi-hit game yesterday, and it was the first in a couple of weeks, basically. 2 for 5 yesterday with a run driven in. And he'll take downstairs 2-0.
Back to the Semien tag up. You know, kind of seems insignificant to tag up and get to third with 2 outs, but you've got a rookie pitcher on the mound that's got 8 walks and 8 2/3.
This one lined out to right. That's a base hit, and it gets Semien to the plate. Young delivers with 2 outs, and the Rangers get that first run of the night.
Catcher number 28, Jonah Heim.
Well, Dave, you mentioned it in just the way that there seemed to be a different energy about this Rangers team last night. And the best thing that they can do coming into this game is capitalize on that and keep that momentum going. And it looks like the at-bats here in the second inning have been really good. And obviously, you're always wanting to score first. So good job by this offense of getting Jacob DeGrom an early run.
Yeah, but that feels really good coming off yesterday's game. A 6-5 win in 10 innings yesterday. The Rangers had to come from behind to get that one last night. And a big part of it was Heim coming up with a pinch hit sacrifice fly in the 8th inning. And then that was it. He hit and then was subbed for defense. But boy, that was huge. Helped force extra innings. He's got Young over there at first base. on the 1-1, and that's fouled back underneath us. Strike two.
Ever gotten a foul ball in this booth?
You know, the funny thing is, I don't think I have actually gotten a foul ball in this booth, but this is one of the most perfect booths for a foul ball. I think we're going to get one.
We almost got one last night, and I think we were here last year, and typically I watch the monitor and not the field, but I think there was a foul ball close last year. I'm thinking I better watch the field, or I might get a foul ball right in the forehead.
Yeah, it could happen here, no doubt. 1-2, and a chopper over first, and that one is heading down into the corner. Young to third base. They'll stop him there. Heim with a high bounding double down the right field line. And there's a little break.
Most home plate areas in baseball are a little firm, and Jonah uses the dirt to his advantage here. O'Hearn holding Josh Young on, so he's able to chop it right over his head down the line. Doesn't go deep enough into that corner where Young can score from first, but he goes first to third.
So Drew French heads out there to have a conversation with Young. Interesting that the Rangers pick up the RBI with 2 outs, and it feels great. You love getting those 2-out runs, but now you want to get a little greedy here with second and third in the inning, and a lot of pitches under the belt for Young in this inning. You're hoping Osuna can come up with some way to maybe cash those guys in. So Young is at third, Heim at second. Osuna 1 for 2 last night, also chipped in the sac fly, and he takes right on the outside corner for a strike. Alejandro, the 1 for 2 last night, that's all the action he's had on this road trip, and he swings over the top of that for strike 2.
Now that's going to be the pitch that Osuna is going to have to deal with early on in his major league career, just to contend with the changeup or the split finger and be able to stay on his backside and work through the middle of the field, because he's a good fastball hitter.
Takes in the dirt. 1-2. You know, I feel like one of the other strengths for Osuna that we have seen at times, really good control of the strike zone, and he's willing to take some pitches. But behind here, 1-2, and there's a bounding ball to second base. Holiday throws out Osuna, and the inning is over. But the Rangers get that first run of the night. Josh Young delivers with 2 outs to make it 1-0. Well, I want to invite you to get your phone, your laptop, your whatever, your iPad, your notebook, and vote for the 2025 All-Star Game. You can vote up to 5 times a day with a 2025 Pro Spirit MLB All-Star ballot. You get an offer for 25% off select games after voting as well. And you can go ahead and cast your vote, or your votes, such that they are, at Rangers.com/vote. Bottom of the second inning, and Jacob DeGrom goes to work here. He gets that first pitch off the outside corner. Ball 1 to Ryan O'Hearn. The next pitch from the righty, lifted down the left field line, and that is going to stay fair, and it's caught for this first out of the inning. Nice job by Osuna. Get over there. You don't take anything for granted. Off the bat, I got to tell you, I somehow figured that was headed foul.
I lost it for a minute, and I just kept my eyes on Osuna. Once he slowed down, I picked the ball back up again, and O'Hearn has done a great job of just driving the ball against righties this year, so does everything he can to keep it fair, but just doesn't go far enough.
Ooh, first pitch strike to Gary Sanchez.
Yes.
his numbers against DeGrom. 2 for 6. Not a huge sample there. But what we do know about Sanchez is there have been times where he has been a very tough out for the Rangers in general. 321 lifetime average against the Rangers with a lot of power. And lately he's been good against everybody. He grounds out to third though. And there are 2 away. That'll bring up Colton Cowser. Last night's game was a weird one in that the Rangers were cruising early. Jacob Latz took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. The Rangers had a 4-0 lead, and then in a blink of an eye the Orioles had scored 5 runs in the 7th to steal the lead away and wrest control of the game from the Rangers. And it all happened with 3 straight home runs. They had 4 hits for the night, all of them in that inning. They did not have a hit in any other frame last night as Cowser takes downstairs, and it's 1-1. So it was the game had a real funny feel to it, but the Rangers seem to have a pretty good answer for those Orioles bats most of the night. And now Cowser takes the strike right on the outside corner. It's 1-2.
It was a weird game. So in 10 offensive innings, the Orioles went 3 up, 3 down 7 times. They sent 4 men to the plate twice and then nearly batted around in the 7th to score those 5 runs. They sent 8 men to the plate that inning.
Grom's 1-2, and that's fouled back. Another good heater at 99. Cowser at 211 for the year. Comes DeGrom's 1-2, and a swing and a miss. Got him on a changeup again. His 3rd strikeout of the night tonight. All 3, yeah, he's pulling the string tonight. They're coming on changeups. No chance. Still 1-0.
Well, special week for the Texas Rangers franchise, as one of the best, Elvis Andrus, will go into the Texas Rangers Hall of Fame this weekend, and our T-Mobile coverage cam is going to turn back the clock for us to April 6, 2009, when Elvis recorded his first major league hit on opening day, a double against left-hander Cliff Lee, who would be his future teammate for a minute or 2.
Critical minute or 2 though, right? As Josh Smith rolls one to second base. Holiday is there. 1 gone to begin the 3rd inning. It'll be a fun weekend though to celebrate Elvis Andrus. A lot of folks will be coming back. He'll be inducted into the Rangers Hall of Fame. My guess is we're going to see a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs. I'll be so interested to hear his speech. Sam Haggerty 0 for 1, and he'll take a strike. Any thoughts on that? How do you think he's going to do with that?
I think he'll do fine. I bet he's been preparing for a while. You know, it's so funny because Elvis came into the league as, you know, this young kid that in so many ways he was fun, but you know, you could poke at him and say he was immature for some things, and it's just been so great to watch him grow up over the years. But then he was able to maintain just that level of enjoyment with Adrian Beltre and all of the fun that they had, and then Elvis grew into a leader in his own way. So I think more than anything, I'm curious to see what Adrian is cooking up. but it'll be a fun weekend, and just so happy for him. So deserving of his place in the Texas Rangers franchise in the Hall of Fame. Well deserved, well earned, and he deserves every bit of the celebration.
Corey Seager here with 2 outs and the base is empty. Grounded out in the 1st inning, 0 for 1. Young allowed the run last inning on 3 hits, including a couple of doubles. And he finds the inside corner with a changeup. 1-1. Young, I mentioned, making his 3rd start of the year, or rather of his career. Recently has come off the injured list. He was down for a while with a shoulder injury. It's ahead here, 1-2. From Lumberton, Texas, just north of Beaumont. Here's his 1-2. And that's fouled off. And Lumberton, Texas, not a big town. Population around 15,000. They turned out another big league pitcher. Any idea who that was?
No, today's the first time I've ever heard of Lumberton, Texas.
Yeah, right. Okay. Same. Clay Buchholz.
I guess I should know that. I came up with Clay just for a little bit in the Red Sox organization. Clay was a pretty good pitcher and had some great years for the Red Sox. So yeah, I guess I should know that.
2-time All-Star. Buchholz. There's a swing and a miss as Young picks up the strikeout. That's his 2nd strikeout of the night. Well, we've played 2.5 here in Baltimore with the Rangers on top 1-0.
Well, time now for StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. You want to know how difficult it is to face Jacob DeGrom. You've got a 97-mile-an-hour fastball at you. That curveball is just 80 miles an hour. So about 8.5 feet off of that 4-seamer. The changeup and the slider average 89.3. There's not a huge variance because DeGrom just doesn't throw the curveball very much, but I feel like the perceived variance there is so much more than it actually looks like, because Jim Palmer, former Oriole pitcher in the Hall of Fame, he was on Rangers Game Day today for our pregame show, and he was just talking about a conversation that he had with Caleb Joseph, who caught DeGrom back in 2021. And Joseph mentioned how DeGrom's fastball, when he throws it down and away, it looks like it's 120 miles an hour. Like it gets on hitters so quickly. And away from a hitter, the fastball will tend to slow down on you a little bit. But he said he spent that whole spring training just trying to throw the ball down and away. And I still think, I mean, that was a pitch that I struggled against. I like the ball in. But I think that should be a strength of any pitcher, and DeGrom does it as well as anyone.
There's a head of ball and 2 strikes on Mullins, and comes in on his hands there at 120 miles per hour. Right? So that feels like it is actually a kind of a fact of life. It is perceived by the hitter a lot faster. It's hard to catch up to it. There's a bouncer up the middle, but Seager was right there for it. And Mullins probably feels like he did his job, but is retired on a 6-3 putout.
Well, here's the strikeouts so far for DeGrom, having a good night here from the start. The changeup has really been working. You saw it in the graphic a second ago. 89.3 the average. That fastball average is 97, but look at the movement that he gets horizontally as it runs away from the left-handed hitter, and he gets some movement down in the zone. And obviously by those numbers, he's pounding the strike zone early.
Carlson got underneath this one. It's hanging up there a little while for Garcia. And there's a quick 1-pitch out. 2 away here in the 3rd inning. And Chadwick Tromp will be the next hitter. 8 up, 8 down so far. DeGrom working with a 1-0 lead. And Trump 1 for 13 so far this year. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it away. He was just called up for this series. Orioles have been hit hard by injury overall this year, in particular recently at the catcher spot. And Trump pops it up left side of the infield. Young wants it, but it's taken by Seager, and the inning is over. A little homage right there to Elvis Andrus. 3 perfect innings so far for DeGrom. Great start to this one. Rangers with a run on 3 hits. All that action came in the second inning. This was just a moment ago. Young, I got it, right? Psych. Catch made right behind him by Corey Seager. The Rangers playing around a little bit out there, kind of like Elvis and Adrian Beltre used to do.
The question is, when it happened for the very first time, I would assume that it was Adrian was the one that
started the fun. A little bloop out into shallow center, and Holiday does a great job racing back there to get it, and that's the first out of the inning. That for a moment looked like that would sneak in.
I thought it was going to fall right in front of Mullins, and you watch Holiday. I think it's a difficult play for an infielder because you have to turn and run, but you also have to keep in mind that you have an outfielder coming hard at you. So I would say the instinct probably is to shut it down so you don't get trucked.
There's Garcia now. He struck out his first time up and rolls out to third base. Pittsburgh throws it across the diamond, 2 away. Gives a second here for Baylor Scott and White Health.
Get the back care you need and get back to life fast.
Well, that is kind of my thing.
Healthcare that keeps you in motion. It's not complicated.
Here's Evan Carter. 2 out, nobody on. Brandon Young has retired 6 in a row now. And he'll be upstairs with a ball to Evan. Carter flew out to center field in the second inning. And Young is off the plate. Would that have made you uncomfortable the first time a couple of teammates pulled off that little prank?
I guess if I see somebody out of the corner of my eye that looks like they're going to catch a pop-up that I'm going to catch, it would buckle me a little bit. It would make me think through it. So I would obviously stay under it until I knew that I was called off. But it would probably mess with me a little bit, and I would probably run in and say, hey man, what are you doing?
Maybe not with that.
But then it became like a thing. It didn't matter if it was like a World Series game or a spring training game. It's just like, hey, this is what we do.
Yeah, those two are really, really good at it. We saw Adolis Garcia do it the other night in right field. That was kind of fun. 2-2 pitch. That's lined out to center field. Base hit for Evan Carter. So his bat continues to stay hot.
Watch how high Evan's hands stay right here to drive through the baseball. It's easy. That breaking ball is belt high, maybe a little higher. And it's easy to get under that pitch and pop it up on the infield or maybe hit a weak fly ball to the outfield. But he worked downhill to it. That was a great bat path.
So he's on with good speed in front of Young. And Josh waves and misses at the cutter. Young drove in the Rangers' run of the second inning. A 2-out single to right field that got Semien to the plate. For Josh, a little bit of a lift. Hits have been harder to come by for him lately. Although, again, coming off a good night last night. Takes a second to reset. 2 outs. Carter with the lead. Young, that's a long hold. He'll throw over there to first.
Well, at this point, you know that the Orioles are on to the fact that the Rangers have some speed and they ran the bases well last night. So you know you need to do a little bit better job of trying to make sure that you mix up your looks You throw a few balls over to first base. Make sure to keep these guys honest.
Carter bluffed that time, but held first base. Yeah, the Rangers, they were running yesterday. 5 stolen bases in yesterday's game. Folks really kind of enjoyed the way it played out yesterday. 0-2, and that one is in the air out to right field. Carlson is back. That one has a chance. It is gone. Young sneaks it into the bleachers in right. 8th home run of the year, and he turns in some more 2-out RBIs. A 2-run blast makes it 3-0 Rangers.
This looked like it was going to be a quiet inning for the Rangers. 2 quick outs from Simeon and Garcia. Carter with the great at bat, and then Josh Young just obliterates this pitch to the opposite field. You know he's in a good place when the ball is coming off of his bat hard to the opposite field. Really good sign for Josh.
Yeah, he had a good night last night, and now already a good night tonight. He's driven in all 3 Rangers runs. Well, maybe he's starting to find it. Jonah Heim now the batter. And Rogers, or rather Young, is up and out with ball 1. Heim had the double in the 2nd inning. It was a ball that he pounded into the dirt in front of home plate and ended up bouncing over first base. This one in the air right field. Carlson started back, but now comes in to make the grab. Inning over. Rangers stretch that lead though to 3-0.
Josh Young with the big swing. Seeing that ball out over the plate, an off-speed pitch. He waits on it and he puts it into those right field bleachers.
Rangers baseball on RSN is brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, the official casino and resort of the Texas Rangers, and by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas. Yeah, good old crab cake here in Baltimore. Those folks doing it right as we go to work here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3-0 Rangers. Maybe Young tonight powered by crab cakes. We'll have to find out. Holiday fouls that one away. 1-1. Driven in all 3. 2-run homer a moment ago. Ended the longest homerless drought in his career. Young career, mind you. But 32 games without a home run, and that streak is over. Balls and a strike on Holiday, who struck out on the changeup in the 1st inning, and this time he fouls off a fastball to make it 2-2.
So DeGrom has 3 strikeouts on the fastball tonight, right? So you're thinking that he just racks up the strikeouts with that pitch. Or did I say fastball? The changeup. How many strikeouts do you think he has on the changeup this season?
This one in the air left field. Carrying pretty well back there, and Osuna makes the catch right up on the wall. I don't know if that one gets out. I mean, it was right at the top of the fence, but nicely done by Osuna. 1 away.
Well, the interesting part of this play too, watch the footwork just as he approaches the fence. He's running on a straight line. He backs up for a second, and then he puts the glove up right at the 363 sign. That's really hard to tell. From that angle, it looked like it was going to hit right on the top part of the fence, not over, but either way, that's a really good play to help his pitcher.
It's a huge out right there as Westberg fouls one off. So Osuna, excellent job to adjust, make the play. And this is popped foul. 0-2 on Jordan Westberg. So back to your question about the strikeouts on the changeup for DeGrom, who he has 3 strikeouts tonight, all of them on the changeup. My guess is you're trying to lead me into a. Well, based on your question, I'll say that not many. 5.
Correct.
Oh.
Got 5 coming into this game all season long on that pitch. 3 tonight.
Boy, luck be a lady tonight. Here's the 1-2 on the way from DeGrom, and that's again fouled away.
I think I'm tipping my pitches to you. Like you know my scouting report.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were definitely, the question conveyed that it was going to be a small number, but it could be any random small number, I suppose. That's in the dirt. 2-2. DeGrom has turned back the first 10 Orioles he's faced tonight. And he's done so fairly efficiently to this point. His 2-2. And that is high in the air, center field. Carter ranging over. And there are 2 away. Let's slide over here a moment for Hyundai.
A blind spot that's never out of sight. How it should be. The Hyundai Tucson.
Gunnar Henderson, and he'll take strike 1. That time the curveball. DeGrom, boy, that changeup. It's possible, I suppose, right, that a pitch can move a little too much. That changeup looked like that was almost. It's unruly.
It's moving like a left-handed sweeper.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. And there's a slider, bounce to second base, and Semien right there for it. And so it's another 1-2-3 half inning for Jacob DeGrom. He's cruising, getting some defensive help as well, and the Rangers holding on.
Yeah, shutdown inning for him. Large part to that guy. Alejandro Osuna plays that wall right there in left field well. Rangers lead this one 3-0.
Welcome back to Camden Yards. Rangers lead by 3 here at the top of the 5th inning. Alejandro Osuna at the plate for the Rangers. And not being an everyday player can be tough for some of these younger guys, but Bruce Bochy says he thinks that Osuna does a good job with it because he's able to make adjustments on the fly. He has great bat to ball skills, so he doesn't commit to a swing too early, and he's able to just wait that split second and make an adjustment to his bat path, which he thinks has allowed him to be successful.
Yeah, and we hope that he gets to see some more consistent at-bats. I mean, either way, Rangers are going to put whoever is hot out there. But he does have a nice approach. I like how his body is nice and quiet. And I feel like he's navigating just his playing time really well, because it can be difficult. You come up from the minor leagues, you're used to playing every single day, and then you might get some sporadic at-bats. And that can be difficult for a young player. So he's handled it well. Great night for him last night. Down 2 strikes a few times.
Well, it takes a walk here. I do enjoy that about him, his 7th walk. And so he's on.
First baseman number 8.
That nice quiet approach. He knew it. That's a ball.
He proceeds with confidence.
He does.
And it's just about everything he does, which is great. Young gets a visit here from Trump. Lead man on in the 5th inning. Last time the Rangers had the lead man on, it was Semien with that leadoff double in the 2nd. And he eventually came around to score. And wow, that's going to be it for Young. Here comes his manager, and so they will go to the bullpen. Scott Blewett, right-hander, been warming up, and he'll be head again here in the 5th. Rangers up 3-0 here in the 5th inning, and headed home after this one. A getaway day today. They will have tomorrow off and then start a series at home against Seattle on Friday. Meanwhile, the Orioles, they have tomorrow off as well. They're giving the ball here to Scott Blewett.
Well, Blewett has had a difficult year this year. 372 and 36 and a third innings. 29 punch outs, 246 batting average against.
So he takes over with Osuna at first base. And we'll see the top of the lineup now. Josh Smith twice grounded out to first base. And this time pulls it foul for strike one. So I suppose he's not exactly hurt to see Young out of the game. See if he can fare better against Blewett. One strike pitch, and that is a little bit low. We had a 10-inning game yesterday, and in that one the Orioles used 5 pitchers. Nobody at any great length in that game, so it should be plenty prepared to handle anything tonight. But you always hate as a manager, I'm sure, to go to a bullpen as early as the 5th inning. They only got 4 innings out of their starter tonight. As I mentioned, they have tomorrow off, and so both teams in that regard feel, you know, a little freer to use guys. There's a strike, 2-2. Well, call the strike. Smith loses his helmet and lifts this one out into left center field, and that's run down out there by Mullins. Oh, and carried pretty well. It does seem like as the temperatures have jumped, Murph, that the ball, and whether it's, I don't know, the way the ball reacts to the bat or just you get a little extra carry, it's carrying more.
Yep. This is a great place to hit historically. And Josh Young has already noticed it, and the ball that he hit to the opposite field, Smitty hits one that ends up on the warning track here in left. The ball that Jackson Holliday hit, I didn't think that was going to go quite as far as it did, so you're onto something.
Well, we're seeing some of the numbers offensively normalize a little bit too from what was a really slow start around Major League Baseball this year. Osuna with his lead, and the pitch to Haggerty is in the dirt. 1-0. Corey Seager would be next. So here's all of baseball. The OPS you can see on the steady climb month by month, and the at bats per home run, yeah, getting closer to, well, now in the upper 20s. Pitch comes inside. Throw goes to second as Osuna took off, and he has his first stolen base. So Alejandro with a good read of Blewett, and Trump now can straighten out that mask.
The Rangers run more than most, but I think, as mentioned, just the momentum that they built last night, there's every reason that they want to continue to build on that, maintain what they've done. You get guys on, you be aggressive and take the next 90 feet.
Well, that now means that Haggerty's in a great RBI spot, especially after taking that pitch. 3-0 the count. 1 out here. Rangers got a run in the second, 2 in the fourth. Would love to keep adding on. And there's a strike to Haggerty.
I was curious to see if Haggerty would swing the bat or not. Now, he's not a guy that you would typically think is going to swing 3-0, but you know that they don't want to face Corey Seager and not have a base open.
Well, and while that is not the type of recipe any manager's hoping for, putting him on here, he's now got a little bit of trouble on his hands. First and second one out for Corey Seager. And once again, the Orioles will spend a little time talking things over on the mound. So that's another one, another visit for Drew French. He's getting his steps in today. Tony Manzolino went out there a moment ago to make the pitching change. Manzolino, of course, just took over the manager's job here on May 17th after the Orioles let their longtime manager Brandon Hyde go. Tony is the son of Doug Manzolino. Did you ever run into Doug?
Didn't.
Doug was Manzo's a longtime coach, mostly in the American League, I think. The White Sox, the Tigers. I guess there was Manzolino, his dad, Doug Manzolino, got in a fight with Phil Garner once. Phil Garner was managing, I want to say, in Milwaukee, and Manzolino might have been with the White Sox. They got in a fight during a game. It's the first time they'd ever met. Next thing you know, Manzolino's on every staff for Phil Garner going forward. They become fast friends and work together forever. I love the fact they meet in a brawl, and it wasn't that they were out there, you know, cleaning up something going on between players. Manzo was chirping from the dugout, as Phil Garner tells the story, and irritated Garner to the point where the Garner came after him, and the two of them went after. The players had to be the peacemakers.
So what was it about that?
Yeah.
Did you never ask Garner that?
No, I don't remember the details of what exactly they were arguing over. Heck, you know how it is. Sometimes I think they forget what they're arguing about. It's just, I'm just tired of it. Yeah, me too. Let's fight. That was the old days.
Yeah, Manzolino got the street credit for, you know, just having the gall to go out there and do it, and Garner liked it.
Yeah, this guy's got some moxie, man. First base coach who wants to get after it a little bit. This one hit sharply up the middle. Base hit for Seager. That'll get another run to the plate. And all the way to third base goes Haggerty. Corey Seager keeps things going. And it's 4-0 Rangers.
Well, as hot as Sam Haggerty has been recently, I don't think it's ever a good recipe to walk a guy to get to Corey Seager. And so you get Seager up there in an RBI situation. You know he's going to hit something hard. He does exactly that. And there you see Haggerty go first to third. Osuna comes in to score the game's 4th run.
So Corey, boy, he was really good last night, especially the way he was moving on the bases. The Rangers have hit that magic number 4. This one's ripped over third and it goes foul. Strike one on Semien. 28-4 the Rangers this year when scoring at least 4 runs. It's an .875 winning percentage. It's the best in baseball. And that slider misses 1-1. The challenge for the Rangers has simply been getting to that threshold, getting to 4 runs. They've done it tonight. They did it last night. And Marcus takes a little bit high. 2-1. Semien doubled earlier. Blew it. Came in here in relief after the leadoff walk to Osuna. And this ball's hit to the alley in left field. That gets down for a hit. Haggerty scores, and Seager taking an extra base, and he is in there. And with the throw going to third, it allows Semien to move up to second base. Marcus again giving just a little bit extra on the bases, and it's creating a little havoc, I think, for the defense.
This pitch right in the middle of the strike zone. Marcus, a .308 hitter in that part of the zone, squares up this baseball. Hard line drive to left field, and once again good base running. As you see Seager, he was peaking once he hit second base the entire time, and nice smooth slide into third.
The RBI single by Semien. He moves up. And so now that means that Garcia with a base hit could score a couple more. Still one out in the inning. The infield is up, and this one is in the air out to right field, and it's carrying all the way back to the warning track. Carlson makes the catch. Seager tags. He'll score. Moving to third goes Semien. 6-0 Rangers. And a big offensive night tonight. Sacrifice fly by Garcia. And that's now his 39th RBI.
Well, once again, El Balmby doing a good job seeing the ball deep in the zone. This is what you practice in batting practice. You're trying to hit a fly ball when the infield is in, and you got a runner on third, less than 2. Great team at bat for Adolis, and extends this Rangers lead.
2 walks in the inning, a sacrifice fly in the inning. And now Evan Carter. Carter with a hit in 2 tries tonight. 3 runs across in the 5th. Evan waiting, blew it. Been a tough go here, and he deals low with the fastball. 2-0. Carter hits that one straight down. 2-1.
Never a good feeling. Breaking ball. Carter actually hit a breaking ball really well his last at bat. Just spins off this one ever so slightly, where the trajectory of the ball goes straight down.
All right, Evan waiting. Semien down there at third base. And a swing and a miss. It's 2-2. A good offensive night tonight all the way around for the Rangers. And then, of course, the great pitching of DeGrom. Jacob has retired the first 12 he's faced tonight. Getting a long rest right now, too. Chopper second base. Holiday runs it halfway there and then lobs it over to first. They get Carter. The inning is done. Rangers, though, picking up a little more offense in this 5th inning. Corey Seager with a blast up the middle. Marcus Semien would send one out to left. A 3-run inning. That's the Rangers up 6-0.
Well, we're halfway through this one, and Texas off to a commanding 6-0 lead. And Corey Seager, a big part of that. Big hit for him. And from one shortstop to another, theme night tickets will get you a custom Elvis Andrus #1 cap. Saturday, June 28th. Mariners play the Rangers that night. Only when you buy your tickets at rangers.com/theme nights. Come get that cap. Come celebrate Elvis.
Well, DeGrom. It's O'Hearn to foul that one off, and he fouled it right off our plate umpire. Chad Fairchild. That's weird. When they go down in the dirt, normally it hits the catcher, maybe even the hitter himself. That one got up and got Fairchild.
It skimmed him. Didn't look like it got him directly.
The changeup just missed. 1-2 the count. O'Hearn flew out to left field in the second. Sanchez and Cowser to follow, and that is a little bit low. 2-2. Or DeGrom from the plate, you could hardly see his face. And he gets a swing and a miss. O'Hearn strikes out this time on the slider.
O'Hearn having a nice year, but when DeGrom's on, it's hard to touch him, and he's having one of those nights, and he's staked to a 6-0 lead, so he's out there and he's pitching comfortable, free and easy. That's a dirty slider.
So 4 strikeouts now. Sanchez, and he takes strike 1, and that's the exact same way his last at bat started, with a little bit of a check swing and a pitch that I'm sure he felt was a smidge off the plate, and I think in both times he was probably right.
I think that one was even further than the first one.
Yeah. The slider's low, 1-1 to Sanchez. So DeGrom, not only has he been able to work with this big lead and he's had command of everything, but you can see not really even perspiring quite like we've seen other guys the last few days, and he puts a heater on that outside corner again.
Goodness, just the tip of it just tickles the edge of the corner at 99.
Well, the 1-2, and he won't chase the slider. Sanchez seems like he's stubborn about the outside part of the plate. DeGrom's had some good fortune there, but he goes with a slider, and Sanchez strikes out swinging. Back-to-back Ks here in the 5th inning.
DeGrom's got to be as difficult as an at-bat as there is in the big leagues. When you're seeing 99 right on the outside part of the plate, you want to make sure to protect it. So you go out there, you see the ball out of his hand, and then you pick up the spin late, 89 with the slider, and it dives below his bat.
So now Cowser went down looking at a changeup. Watches a slider here for a strike, and chops this one weakly along the first base side. DeGrom scoops it up over to first. Cowser retired. 15 up, 15 down. Might be watching something kind of special here tonight from DeGrom. He decides to try out the slider here in the 5th, and he adds 2 more strikeouts to the total. Well, here we are in the 6th inning, which is presented by your North Texas Audi dealers on the Inner Harbor here in Baltimore, Maryland. Much more comfortable night tonight. As the first pitch of the inning here from Blewett misses low and away to Josh Young. Young having a good night tonight. RBI single, a 2-run homer. Big part of this Rangers offensive surge this evening. And he shoots that foul for strike 1. Now our stats with Lowe's. Well, Josh Young. Nope. Rangers bottom of the lineup the last 2 games. That's what we're going with here tonight. And they have been really, really good. Now there's a ground ball third. Westberg throws out Young. And then for the first time tonight, they retire him. 1 away. We'll bring up Jonah Heim. Jonah had the had the double, not an RBI double, just a double in the 2nd inning. He flew out to right field in the 4th. And he'll take a fastball, strike 1. So these 2 teams, a getaway day and playing a night game. You don't see that a ton during the week. And yet, next week, back in Arlington, these 2 teams will play, well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Exact same schedule, basically. All 3 games will be night games. And in both cases, the next day, an off day. That's the one saving grace here. Heim gets underneath this one and launches it deep out to right. It is gone. A towering home run for Jonah Heim, his 8th of the season, and the Rangers now lead 7-0.
Well, the Rangers continue to pour it on here. I believe it was a hanging changeup. Jonah has just one homer on changeups this season. There it is, 84 miles an hour right down the chute. Jonah takes advantage. 102 miles an hour on the exit velocity. Good to see him getting going again.
This ball's hit hard down the right side, but will go foul. Osuna thought he had one there.
Here's another look from a different vantage point. Good swing from Jonah. I believe it was 35 degrees on the launch angle. And there's depth to this lineup. And when the bottom, we just saw the numbers 6 through 9 last night. When they're getting the job done, it only makes it easier on everyone's life, especially those guys at the top. You know they're going to produce. But this is the type of night when it's kind of a perfect storm. 7-0.
Osuna shoots that one away. 1-2. What a night. Rangers were shut out here Monday. 3 hits. One of them an infield dribbler. And after the game, we just candidly, as a group, on Rangers game day, we were truly at a loss for words. I mean, it was that point where you're like, I don't know what else to say. Yesterday, a really good game, great at bats all the way around. And now tonight, Rangers looking really solid again. So here's the thing. They started off so poorly offensively and then showed these little glimpses every now and again. It just seems to me that they're mixing more good games in, is I guess the way I would say it. That one is lined up the middle and a great play by Henderson to take one away from Osuna. 2-1.
Great at bats up and down this lineup. Here's another good one. Unfortunately, Gunnar Henderson, he is placed right there to the left of second base, a few steps to his left, and snares that one.
So Smith can't hold up there, and he swings through strike one. Josh 0 for 3 tonight. He's the only Ranger so far this evening who has not either reached base or driven in a run. And he swings right through strike 2. For that matter, there are only 2 Rangers who haven't scored tonight, Smith and Adolis Garcia. And Josh strikes out swinging. That ends the 6th inning, but more productivity for the Rangers. This time, Jonah Heim, there was no doubt about that one. Number 8 on the year for him, and the Rangers with a big early lead. Well, 7 runs on 8 hits for this Rangers offense. Once again, the focus, the story so far has been how much fun that has been, because that's been the opposite of that has been the story of the year. Meanwhile, Jacob DeGrom is having a night. And the first pitch of the inning is lifted out into right field. Mullins flies out to right, and that is the first out of the inning. All right, let's check in with Laura.
Yeah, well, guys, after Jacob Lax's excellent game last night, his teammates were joking around calling him Jacob DeGrom, which was pretty funny. But today, Jacob DeGrom is reminding us that there's nobody quite like him.
No doubt.
Jacob DeLatz, right?
Jacob DeLatz, yeah. No doubt.
Or look.
And there's a fastball right in there to Dylan Carlson. DeGrom is not allowed a base runner yet. And quite honestly, has hardly had to break a sweat here as he misses outside. 1-1. Five strikeouts. I think that helps too. You don't need a ton of strikeouts. You can get these quicker outs sometimes on contact, and that will preserve pitches for later in the game, although we are already kind of later in the game. He works here in the 6th. Two-time Cy Young Award winner. It's 2-1 pitch. Carlson shoots it into the seats.
You know you're showcasing some pretty good stuff when in a 2-1 hitter's count, you can throw a 99-mile-an-hour fastball right down the chute, and a hitter is going to be that late on it.
We'll see if he picks up his 6th strikeout here tonight. 2-2 on the way. Nope. 100. Maybe trying to do a little too much with that one. It's a full count.
Maybe that's the one that he talked about in spring training when he's like, I don't need 99.
Right.
I can live at 96, so I'm not trying to yank.
Here's the payoff. And a swing and a miss. He got him on the slider. 6th strikeout tonight for DeGrom.
Now Carlson looked like he was dead set on getting a heater right here. He saw 99 and 100. That front side is flying. You're not touching this one.
So he started the game with his first 3 strikeouts on changeups, and now his last 3 strikeouts have come on sliders. And the 9th place hitter, Chadwick Tromp, takes low, ball 1. Tromp popped out in the 3rd inning. He's 0 for 1. It was interesting there with Carlson getting to 3 balls in that count. Chopper left side of the infield. And Young has time, throws across the diamond, and they get Trump. And boy, oh boy, what a night for Jacob DeGrom, adding to the strikeout total. 6 perfect innings under his belt. Our Chevy under the hood tonight. How about the Rangers out on Utah Street here at Camden Yards? These are Rangers who have deposited home runs out there in right field out on Utah Street that they do a great job of preserving. And of course, Sam Haggerty also did it as a Mariner a couple years ago. It's one of the really cool features here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Haggerty, he'll start this 7th inning.
You just saw him step into the box and say something to Trump. I bet that was like, how's DeGrom's stuff tonight? Because you saw Trump just shake his head a little bit.
Yep.
Orioles know they have their hands full.
They do indeed. Haggerty 0 for 2 with a walk. And he takes a little bit high here. And the Orioles changed pitchers. Brian Baker, the new right-hander now. And this one in the air left field. Kowser is there, and he makes the catch, 1 away.
The numbers for Baker, but more importantly, another guy that's 6'6". And we didn't even talk about it with Blewett. Blewett was 6'6" also.
I mean, it is crazy. It's got to be the biggest pitching staff in baseball by height. Baker misses with ball 1 here to Corey Seager. Seager had a base hit, scored a run, drove in a run in the 5th inning, and he jackknifes out of the way of a changeup there. Good pitch for a strike, 1-1. There's something about the game last night for Corey that makes me feel like he feels good again and backing on time. A bouncer up the middle, backhanded by Holiday, and he takes care of Seager. 2 gone. We have just enough time here for Standard Insurance.
For nearly 70 years, Standard has helped Texans save on their car and home insurance. Call Standard. Call Standard today.
Don't delay. Call Standard today.
Marcus Semien, the batter. 2 for 3, and he'll lift that out into center field. Slices away from Mullins, and Semien with a 3-hit night.
Multiple Rangers getting hot here, and you got to love what you're seeing out of Marcus Semien tonight. 2 hard hit balls to the pull side. This one he stays on and goes to the opposite field. 3 hard hit balls, 3 hits for him, as those numbers continue to climb in June and since he moved into the 4-hole.
So Garcia now looking for his first hit of the night. Oh, that one comes way in and gets away, and Semien trots down to second base. That was a really big miss right there by Baker.
He's been right around the plate. That one nowhere close. Trump has to turn that glove over. Tries to frame it at first, but there was enough run on it. He reaches back, can't come up with it.
So Baker off the plate with the changeup. 2-0 now. Good lead for Semien. Oh, and a tough strike call there on Garcia. It was a pass ball, putting Semien at second base. Now time called by Garcia. Those are tricky to me sometimes. It's, you know, the standard is if it's in the dirt, then it's a wild pitch. If it gets to the catcher in the air and he touches it or whatever, then pass ball. But that one was a little dicey.
That wasn't easy.
Pop foul. 2-2 on Garcia. Well, it's been a great night for the Rangers in all aspects. 2-2, and that is very tight. It's making me uncomfortable, those fastballs that get in near the hands. But again, Garcia seeing a lot of pitches in an at bat, and he'll turn that foul.
Well, if Baker decides to make a poor pitch choice and he throws Garcia a slider, who I feel like he hits breaking balls in the zone really well, you might see some fireworks, because opponents are hitting 607. They're slugging 607 versus the Baker slider.
3-2 pitch. Ooh, and he chases the fastball for strike 3. And the inning is done. Rangers will leave a man at second base. It's stretch time in Baltimore, and it's time to call your friends. Watching something special here tonight with the Rangers up 7-0.
Well, it seems like every time Jacob DeGrom takes the mound here lately, we're talking about how good his stuff has gotten. Well, tonight may be the pinnacle. Through 6 innings so far, he's only thrown 67 pitches. 6 strikeouts for him. You're seeing all 6 of them. 3 on the changeup, 3 on the slider, and he has looked great.
That's first pitch here, in for a strike to Jackson Holliday. Holliday is struck out and flied out. Pretty good distribution so far tonight of the outs. DeGrom has figured out every way to retire hitters on this Baltimore side tonight. 2 times through the lineup. And this is the 3rd. That changeup is in. It's 2-1. Holliday, one of the young and up-and-coming superstars of the game. 2-1 pitch to him, and he swings over that slider. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. DeGrom with bigger breaths, it seems, between pitches here. He and Heim agree, the 2-2. Yeah, that one gets away from him, and there again, like humping up for just a little bit more. 99 miles per hour in the 7th inning.
I think if anything, he just needs to stay calm. Basically pitch the way he started this game. Give himself some margin for error. Don't try to make every pitch too perfect.
It's down the line, foul. Stays 3-2.
The last thing that he needs here is to be throwing 5 or 6 pitches to every hitter. Just dot your fastball and mix the way you have been.
There's ball 4, and the Holiday reaches first base. Well, first base runner tonight for these Orioles. And the fans here understood what that meant. Crazy thing about that walk is Holiday leads at first, and DeGrom has to go from the stretch for the first time tonight. It's fouled away. I read a note today that the Orioles have walked at least once in a franchise record 157 consecutive games. Now 158 as they extend their franchise mark. The next closest streak going right now in baseball, the Yankees have walked at least once in 46 consecutive games. So it would be a walk tonight that would upset the apple cart. 0-2 now on Westburg.
What an obscure streak.
Isn't that odd?
That's so odd.
It's odd that anyone would even track a streak like that, and it's certainly odd that it would come to our attention today. The 0-2 and a swing and a miss. And 99 miles per hour past Jordan Westburg, and that's the first strikeout on a heater tonight for DeGrom.
Looks like this heater's got some rise on it. That low arm angle, and that fastball ends up at seemingly higher than it started. But you see that good four-seam life.
No, swinging a high fly ball. Right side of the field, and Garcia was way over towards center. Had a long run to get to it, but he makes the catch. And there are 2 gone.
That's exactly what DeGrom needs to get back in this game. After taking some of these hitters into deeper counts, he gets a strikeout on 3 pitches, and then a first pitch pop out into right field.
So now a 2 gone, Ryan O'Hearn. And Jacobs' first pitch. There's a swing and a miss. Strike 1. 7th inning, 7-0 Rangers. Jackson Holiday, the only base runner tonight for the Orioles, walked to open the inning. And that one's chopped straight down foul for strike 2. DeGrom, we saw at the end of last inning, and then a little bit in that walk to Holiday, muscling up just a little bit for some extra velocity, which very clearly he does not need tonight. He has plenty. 0-2, and that's low. I'm sure it's the hardest part there is trying to resist that urge. One of the great pitchers all time, DeGrom. The 1-2, and that one is high, and there's that fastball 99. Maybe just getting away from him a little bit.
How about this number? 21 hitters he's faced so far. 17 first pitch strikes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. 2-2, and it is in. Ball 3. So a full count. I think it's only the 3rd 3-ball count he's had today. Runner going, a check swing, and on the appeal he did not go, and O'Hearn draws another walk in the inning. The Orioles have a couple of base runners.
think O'Hearn obviously held up. Yeah, he wasn't anywhere close to going. He saw that pitch well.
So that gets Mike Maddox out of the dugout. First visit tonight for DeGrom. Consider this with DeGrom. You know, just trying to give a little perspective on how good he has been in his career. He's 37 years old. He's bringing the gas here tonight. But with a minimum of 200 starts, if you want to go in the expansion era, so since 1961, and look at the lowest ERAs in Major League history. Well, Sandy Koufax at 2.19 ERA would be the lowest. The next lowest, there's a tie. Jacob DeGrom and Clayton Kershaw at 2.5. Only Koufax has been better in his career. Again, since the expansion era. There's strike one on Gary Sanchez.
He's got a long list of things that he does so well. I mean, he's always racked up the strikeouts and really kept the walk numbers down. The ERAs throughout the years have been tremendous.
This one back up the middle. Simeon will grab it and go to the bag himself, forces out O'Hearn, and the inning is done. DeGrom puts a couple of it on via the walks. But Jacob, with his great stuff tonight, a strikeout of Westberg, adding to the total 7 no-hit innings tonight. Now look at our Ford leaderboard here. How about most home runs as a catcher in American League history? And we bring this up for the guy who will be visiting town here coming up. Pudge, of course, the greatest. 35 home runs in 1999 for the Rangers. Some other great names on there, but Cal Raleigh right now 29. And today is the midway point of the year for the Rangers anyway. They hit 81 games now. Raleigh 29 home runs, and he'll be coming to town starting Friday night. The Mariners in for a 3-game series, so the Rangers will need some offense to combat him. And they've shown that tonight. 7-run burst here on 9 hits. Then they'll try to add to it in the 8th inning against Gregory Soto.
Soto on for his 2nd consecutive night. He was the guy in the 8th for the Orioles last night when he walked Haggerty to lead off, and then Haggerty, there was something about him. You know that there's preparation that went into the 2 stolen bases that we saw, whether it was on the part of Corey Ragsdale, whether it was on the part of Haggerty in the scouting meeting, whatever it was, but Haggerty was ready to go, and that base running paid off. Glad to see Evan Carter getting an at-bat here versus a lefty.
Chops this one to the first base side, and the underhand to Soto. It's a race to the bag, and Soto just did sneak that foot in there. Bruce Bochy saying immediately, hang on. We want to see if that one might be worth a look, so they'll check upstairs, and they do want to challenge. Carter thinks he was safe. Let's see.
Texas challenges the call at first base.
Ooh.
Is that a tie goes to the runner situation, or is that enough to overturn it? I mean, it looks like it's pretty much the exact same time.
I don't know. It looks like we tend to see what we want to see, but it kind of looked like Carter's foot impacted the bag before Soto. That's a tricky one. We're looking at it right now back in New York. Again, it's got to be clear and convincing evidence to the contrary of the call on the field. They called him out. Boy, that is.
Yeah, it's his foot on the bag there is the question. Maybe a little bit off.
Right. The challenge is that angle blocks us a little bit, right?
Yep.
And this angle blocks you from Carter's foot. Now in New York, they're able to sync those up. And so they can run those really slowly next to one another and probably get a pretty good idea. But Boch in the 8th inning, I mean, it's worth a challenge. Why not? Here we go.
After review, the call on the field stands. Runners out. Texas has lost the challenge.
And so Carter called out. They couldn't confirm it, but they couldn't overturn it either. And so Soto gets his first out.
Well, one thing's for sure either way. Evan Carter just runs like a deer. That shouldn't have been as close as it was, and he doesn't even look like he's busting it down the line. His strides are long. I mean, he is the Rangers' fastest runner if we are considering the StatCast numbers. 29.3 feet per second for Evan, and he was moving there.
So now Josh Young. Young 2 for 3 tonight. Had that 2-run homer in the 4th inning. That's 1-1. Rangers did a good deal of damage today off the starter. Brandon Young scored 4 runs off him in 4 innings, and Young lifts this down the right side. That's slicing away, but Carlson gets to it, and that was going to stay fair. He makes the catch. 2 away. And here's Jonah Heim. Heim will switch over to the right side here against the lefty Giovanni Soto. Last time up, Heim knocked out that home run. Now the double earlier tonight. This is probably where we've seen the biggest improvement for Jonah this year, is as a right-handed hitter. He'll take just at the bottom of the strike zone there for a strike. Little chopper back by the mound. Henderson charging in from short, takes a couple extra steps and then throws it over there in time to get high. Bottom of the 8th coming up, the 4-time All-Star, 2-time Cy Young Award winner Jacob DeGrom going out on a special night tonight.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rangers Television LLC and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rangers Television LLC.
Well, what a night tonight. Jacob DeGrom back out here in the 8th inning and works to Colton Cowser. Then it'll be Cedric Mullins and then Dylan Carlson. Next pitch in the dirt, 1-1 on Cowser. DeGrom's had that good stuff tonight, 88 pitches in. He's allowed a couple of walks so far. That's it. And a bouncer right side. That's through, base hit. And the fans here will applaud Colton Cowser for putting a little blemish on an otherwise brilliant night tonight for Jacob DeGrom. And Bruce Bochy will go out and get him.
Well, unfortunate here. This is a ball that catches enough of the middle. Cowser pulls it into right field. Good effort by Marcus, knowing the situation, but it looks like this will be the end of the night for DeGrom, and what a great night it was.
Well, we'll see if the fans here, and I think they will. They're good baseball fans in Baltimore, and they know what they just witnessed. A special night for Jacob DeGrom. Perfect into the 7th. No hitter into the 8th. He leaves with a shutout. Well, that was pretty awesome. What a night for Jacob DeGrom. You can see the disappointment on his face that he didn't get all the way to the finish line. But that's about as good as a guy can be. He was razor sharp tonight as Jacob Webb goes to work now in relief.
I'm sure he's bummed. He's a competitor. You know, it started to, you know, he had some longer at bats later in the ball game, and just made a few mistakes. One out of the strike zone, or two out of the strike zone for the walk, and then threw a pitch in the middle to Cowser to lose the no-hitter. But I guess your job as a pitcher is to keep your team in a ball game and put them in a position to win. And I think it's pretty obvious he did that.
Well, I love seeing what we're looking at right there. Jack Leiter just taking it all in. Heck, even Langford taking it all in. You know what I mean? That's great. Jack hopes to be in that spot in the not too distant future. A chance to do something special like that. There's a strikeout of Mullins. 2 gone. So good job by Webb to get his night started. 32nd appearance of the year for him. Well, Carlson high in the air to center, and he is retired. 2 away. He's never thrown a no-hitter. Heck, had a perfect game into the 7th inning, and it just had that feel tonight of a night where DeGrom might be able to pull it off. Weird Latz talking last night with Jared in Rangers Game Day. Jared Sandler, a host of Rangers Game Day, and he was saying, yeah, I could feel it around the 6th inning. My legs were getting kind of heavy. Trump lifts one out into left field, and I'm sure there was some of that too for DeGrom today, where arm feels fine and all, but it's the rest of the body too, right? Anyway, hands it over to Webb. Webb gets him 1-2-3 in the 8th. We go to the 9th inning with the Rangers up 7-0. That's a cool scene here between innings. Jonah came into the dugout, found his starter tonight, and that was kind of a heartfelt embrace right there between those two. And they stayed and chatted a little while. Dave Bush, assistant pitching coach, in there as well. And Jacob, so one of the great things about having DeGrom around is you're talking about a guy who is at the ultimate peak of the profession. And he's so generous, you know, so willing to share insights, share the glory of the moment. But, you know, he loves talking about it. He loves thinking about it. He just loves the whole thing. Like, it's just everybody who's a part of what he did tonight. He made sure to acknowledge all of them, and now moves on and can cool down. What a night. That was fun.
And in Jonah Heim's body language, you could see what the rest of his teammates were feeling. I mean, Jacob obviously wants it, and it's his no-hitter, but you don't think the rest of those guys want to be a part of history too and see something really neat? Jonah wants to tell his grandkids someday about how great Jacob DeGrom was, and that he got to, you know, catch his no-hitter. That wasn't going to happen tonight, but either way, great performance.
So Andrew Kittredge now, the pitcher in this 9th inning with the Rangers up 7-0.
3 consecutive nights for Kittredge. He's pitched in all 3 games of this series.
Still bringing it at 96 with that miss. Osuna turns that foul. Count stays 1-2. Well, Rangers headed home after this one. They will enjoy a day off tomorrow. And then a big weekend series with Seattle. They hope they can keep these bats going. That's fouled back. Stays 1-2. be the key. Although I thought it was interesting. I think it was yesterday we were talking with Boch about this. Just about trying to stay positive and seeing the possibilities with a team like the Rangers as an example. As that one bounced to second, one away. So obviously a lot of hand wringing and gnashing of teeth as it pertains to this offensive performance this year. And Boch has had to answer the question over and over and over again. And he was kind of asked in a very direct way at some point yesterday. He just said, look, my feeling is that if you have great pitching, you're in every game and you've got a chance, and you can't let that go unnoticed. Yeah, sometimes you struggle to score runs, but every single night his starters have given them a shot, with very, very rare exceptions. And today, I mean, you can't do a whole lot better than holding the opposition to 0 runs. It does make it a whole lot easier. And today they combine that with some offense.
That's probably the reason why that's been a good trend this year, and that's why coming into tonight the Rangers have won 10 out of Jacob DeGrom's 15 starts.
Haggerty takes a strike and it's 0-2. The Rangers have done a good job of giving DeGrom a little run support this year. That's been certainly helpful toward his success in terms of wins and losses. And Haggerty can't find strike 3. Kittredge authors a 1-2-3 ninth inning. Last of the ninth coming in Baltimore. This one all Rangers tonight. There you see it, a 7-0 Rangers lead tonight. And this one, yeah, the offense has been a thrill. But the story was Jacob DeGrom. Cole Winn now wants to try and put the finishing touches on it.
Cole Winn looks to continue what has been a dominant season to this point. 13 innings in 10 games, still has not allowed a run. 6 walks, 9 strikeouts, and a batting average against of under 200. Under 180 for that matter.
He has been fabulous. His job to get the final 3 outs of this one. He'll get the top of the order. Holiday, Westberg, and then Gunnar Henderson. And the first pitch waved at and missed for strike 1. Well, it was this guy Holiday who drew the walk in the 7th inning, and that spoiled at the moment what was a perfect game bid by DeGrom. He then took the no-hitter into the 8th inning, and that's when Cedric Mullins, or rather Colton Cowser, singled to right field to get the only hit tonight for Baltimore. 2-1 now the count. This game similar, although the reversal of what we saw in Monday's game, where the Rangers were shut out 6-0, and the Rangers had only 3 hits in that game. Two and 2 the count on Holiday. Winn takes a moment as well. Holiday back in, and we'll reset. The pitch, and that is strike 3 called. 96 miles per hour. Right on that inside corner. That was a beauty.
Saw this earlier in the ball game from DeGrom to Holiday. I think DeGrom's was 98. It looks like one of those fastballs that just stays on plane. It looks like it's going to drop below the strike zone. It stays right there.
Jordan Westberg, the batter. And he can't quite catch up to the fastball. So it was all said and done tonight. DeGrom 7 innings, 1 hit of shutout ball, walked 2, struck out 7. And this is a hot one hopper to shortstop. Seager throws out Westberg, 2 gone. Before Gunnar Henderson comes to bat, let's hear from Globe Life.
For more than 100 years, Globe Life has consistently protected the financial future of millions of families. Globe Life, make tomorrow better.
Well, the Rangers 1 out away from finishing this one off. Another series win on the road. It would be their 4th straight road series win. Well, they have figured out some things away from home. Most notably, the offense seems to perform a little better out here. That one is off the plate. 1-1. We're also 1 out away from the midpoint of the season. The Rangers playing in their 81st game tonight. Chopper over the mound. Seager throws it to first. This one is over. And that is a nice clean way to finish a 7-0 shutout of the Orioles on a very special night for Jacob DeGrom.
Exactly how you would draw it up. Your pitching was phenomenal. Your offense gave you runs. Quick, clean, easy ball game. Way to win another series, 4th in a row on the road.
So the Rangers feeling good, heading home with a big series against Seattle coming up. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap this one up for you here in just a moment.